Making something fly in From the Depths is pretty easy. You can make something like this, or this, that, or even this. All of them fly in a really simple way. Today I would like to talk about that. This is Salty and welcome back to the channel. If you are new to From the Depths and you are looking to fly, you will undoubtedly look into this menu and you might start homing in on these. That's fine, but more often than not, your unidentified air flying object won't even need those. Because thrusters and prop jets are just so much better and easier. This is the Vajra. It was my first attempt at making something fly, and I think it's an excellent example to show how you can make your flying object fly. When you look at a plane, what do you see? Well, for me, I see force. See, if I were to push here, the wing drops and the other one raises. That is roll. And if I push here, the nose drops and the aft raises. That is pitch. When I see an object I want to fly, I look at where I can install force to cause it to move. That is step one of understanding how to make anything fly. And that also applies to going forward. Look at where the main thrusters are, directly in the middle of the mass. If you didn't know, these things are always here for you to look at. The mass one is really important, but so is the drag. So if you build something like this, you may need to compensate for your unequal forces in order to fly properly. In From the Depths, you need to use 6 main forces to control your craft. Roll, pitch, yaw, hover, forward and backwards propulsion, and strafe. All 6 of these can be used regardless of if it's in sky, sea, or space. Though for most craft, especially standard ships and planes, you won't be needing strafe. So when I see this, I see roll here and here, right and left. Pitch here and here, up and down. Yaw and hover are a bit different. Yaw rotates the nose and the aft like a clock, while hover raises and lowers the altitude. The Vajra makes use of the wing blocks to control the hover axis, and uses the rudder blocks to control the yaw axis. But even all of these are not enough rudder, so I had to install turning thrusters. That being said, this entire plane could operate on thrusters for all 6 axes. So let's do just that. Meet the brick. It's beautiful, isn't it? Made up of nothing but homegrown heavy armor beams and slopes. The heaviest material in From the Depths. And all we got to make this thing fly is some engine power, basic AI, and this here air tab. So let's get started. Yes, those are huge jet thrusters. And yes, I am slapping them onto every surface imaginable. And while you might say that's brute force inefficient, perhaps even tacky, I say, if it's dumb and it works, then it works. So let's go and get this thing right. AI, I need to configure the AI. Let's do that real quick. We need 3 things here. First, a behavior. You can pick whichever fits your ship best, but I'm just going to pick the point at. Most of these settings here you can ignore, but definitely change the altitude since it is flying. Second, we need to select a maneuver. I'm going to pick hover because it will use jets to hover. If you don't know what your ship can do, try looking at the troubleshooting boxes down below and check what applies. It will tell you if the maneuver will work or not. Finally, the adjustment tab is important as we have to set the minimum altitude over water. This should probably be at least 100, if not 200 for a flying object, and we also need to set it to a flying type. And with that, it should just fly. So there you have it, a flying brick. Now this is where the video would end for most creators. But Salty has no chill. So I thought to myself, man, that is a lot of thrusters on the bottom. And the engine is capping out. And if any of these thrusters get shot off, ... So, let's fix this brick up. So what were to happen if I started blowing off these exposed jets? Well, that's no good. Perhaps, maybe, I could install some interior jet that has a massive amount of power and thrust protected deep inside the brick walls. Have you ever heard of our custom jet engine? I like to call them CJ. CJ lives here in the Air tab, and I know it looks confusing, but it's really quite simple. To build your own CJ, you mainly use 6 components. Let's start front to back in order. Intake. This needs to be facing the outside of the ship. Compressor. Build more of these for better efficiency stat. Jet controller. This is the brain of CJ. You need to build one. Combustion. More thrust equals more power. Exhaust. The direction of the thrust also needs to be facing the outside of the ship. So let's see if 2 CJs can lift this brick. And maybe I'll keep a couple spotters on the side. And voila, a better flying brick that now will stay airborne much longer. But Salty, you said wings were pointless. And yet your Vajra example used wing blocks. Why is that? I'm glad you asked, my projection of my tiny audience. Well, I have another version of the brick, but let me warn you, it's not meta, and most would argue it's worse in almost every way, except perhaps style. Introducing the brick with wings. My suspicions are far too much Red Bull. Real quick, this version uses wing blocks and altogether provide about 20k of upward force. That's about 20% of one CJ, so not much. Plus you have to strap really large underwing thrusters to get it up to speed so the wing blocks will do anything at all. But it does go fast. The struggle lies in keeping the guns pointed at the enemy. But if you can figure that out, planes are pretty cool. I decided to upload all 3 versions of the brick to the workshop, and I'm throwing down the gauntlet. I would like to see what you can do with the brick to make it the best it can be. I left plenty of space in the interior. You can find the links down below for all 3 in the description. So if something sparked in your mind, I would love to see your ideas. And I plan to revisit the comment section to see what crazy contraptions everyone comes up with. Till next time, this is Salty.